secrets. So been seeing a lot of people putting my stuff on their sites, and this has happened in the past. They suck, viewership, from a lot of us. Scott McKay had this problem for a while. I don't know, maybe he still does. I've had this problem forever, and what unfortunately happens is when people get sucked to these other sites, they ask them for their financial information, and they think they're, dealing with a trusted source, myself, and they're not, and they get taken advantage of. And some people get taken advantage of horrifically. Like it's 4:44 my time right now, so the angels are trying to help you out too here. So angels, fuck around, find out. All right, so I hope you guys aren't fucking around and finding out, going to other sites. And that's unfortunately something that happens to people. Yeah, Mark, you're broke, so it's no problem with you, right? Right. So yeah, you don't have any money to give anybody. So that's, but some people do. Some people have a lot of money to give to other people, and they give it to people that basically take it all. And unfortunately, some people have lost everything. And we're talking like their whole life savings. So guys, be careful out there. So let me show you one of them right now on Facebook. Someone brought this to my attention. It's got 7,200 views. This is Michael Jaco Fan Club. I do not have a Michael Jaco Fan Club on Facebook, right? And on this site, look at that, 516 likes, 52 comments, and 41 shares. And this is not me. This is not me, right? So, I have Michael Jaco. I have Unleashing Intuition LLC. So those are a couple of my sites on Facebook, but I do not have a Michael Jaco Fan Club. If you're watching right now on YouTube, you should be looking at, let me pull it up, make sure I tell everybody right. So I've had 17 channels on YouTube, so I don't want to get it wrong. It's Michael Jaco. So I'll share the screen. And when you see it, you're going to be seeing something that looks like this. All right, so that's Unleashing Intuition Secrets. When I first started out, I was all into, teaching people how to, tap their intuition and remote viewing and all that kind of stuff. And then it transitioned into, looking at the world through my intuitive lens and keeping you guys up to speed, keeping you guys calm and cool, keeping you guys healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I've done a very good job of that. So it's Michael Jaco, and as you see here at Michael K. Jaco. All right, so if you're not seeing this, you're not seeing that picture, although I have seen pictures, this picture on other sites that are posing as me. They're all over it. I know people, used to say, why don't you complain to YouTube? And I was like, so I did it one time. I complained to YouTube, and then I lost my channel. So YouTube is involved in it, guys. They probably make, and who knows, maybe even YouTube creates some of these and makes money off of them. So it's a racket. You have to be careful out there. Like I said, I'm helping you guys become healthy, wealthy, and wise. But you have to, look at what you're watching. And some people just don't care. They see my information. They don't care where it comes from. They click it, watch it. And if it, like for instance, on my Telegram channel, which I've had Michael K. Jaco, all right. I've had that channel for 8 years. At one time, it had tons of subscribers, I think up to almost 30,000, 29 something. And then it slowly, almost every day, every week, every month, it's bled numbers, subscribers. So yeah, I think that, yeah, we can share information on some of these channels, but these channels are not on the up and up, guys. Rumble, I don't see any social media platform out there that's on the up and up. Not one of them. None of them, right? And I know a lot of people think that Elon Musk came in and took over Twitter. Still obviously got the same people that run the show, because they're suppressing a lot of us, and a lot of us have talked about it. So, and that's known. You can even ask Grok. Some people have asked Grok, is my channel suppressed? I've looked at mine too. Yes, Grok. Even Grok says it. Yes, you're being suppressed. So it is, it's crazy. It's very, very frustrating, but it is what's going on out there. I just want you guys to be aware of it. I'm sure most of you are, but it has to be, reiterated on occasion, because newbies come in, and then trusting seniors who get taken advantage of all the time, unfortunately, will believe it's me. It's happened on Scott. I remember Scott. He had this one couple. I think they got taken for well over $1 million, right? And there was no getting it back. Now I've had people in that same category that got caught up in investments. I think one of them was in Switzerland. This one woman in Switzerland, she like contacted me and said, "Is this you?" And I was like, "No, sorry, I don't give investment advice like that." So she had taken investment advice and had gotten into futures or options or something, and they kept saying, "Well, you're in the hole, so you need to get more," and took like, I don't know, I think she had lost well over $1 million. So it is, I don't know if she ever got it back, or if she was going to go after him. I don't know if she ever got it back. I never heard from her again, but she just wanted to make sure it wasn't me, because if it was me, she was going to take me to the cleaners and get that money back, and rightfully so, but I don't do that. I'm on the up and up, and like I said, I'm helping people as much as I can. All right. So word to the wise, all right. Stay wise. Don't get suckered. All right. And don't F around and find out the hard way, guys. Right. Right. So, they're out there, they're hunting you, they're hunting me, they're hunting all of us. It's, they take advantage of us all the time. Just like I said about YouTube and Facebook, right? So I always wonder why Facebook, because a lot of people lost their Facebook channels. I saw that even recently, Nino lost his Facebook channel. And I think he had like hundreds of thousands of subscribers on his Facebook channel. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I got suppressed for years and years and years. I guess they didn't suppress you. And then I see something like that. All right. So I think they're making money off me as well. Facebook, Telegram. So there's another Telegram channel. So I was talking about how Telegram is like, my numbers have slowly eroded. They're going somewhere else that's got my name and my pictures, and they raid every time I post a picture anywhere on social media, they take that picture and put it on Telegram. Anytime I do a show like this, it'll be on Telegram. I'll put it on my channel, but they put it on their channel too. They have almost 30,000 subscribers on another channel. And there's 5 or 6 different Telegram channels that are not me. And all of them, I remember where I was at an event one time. This woman came up to me and says, "Oh, I on your Telegram channel, I saw you were promoting blah, blah, blah. And I went and got it." And she was so happy that she was supporting me. I didn't want to tell her, that's not me. So I just like, okay, well, I'm glad you like that product. Good job. There's a lot of scamming going on out there. I'm sure it's going to reach an even higher level as we move into this new economic system. So the new economic system, where we have Nassara coming in, is going to be very exciting. But there will be a transition period, and during that transition period, there will be theft and corruption, like more, like more. Yeah, like you mean like more than we're seeing right now? Of course, yeah. So it's picking up pace, as everything is picking up pace, because I'm going to keep reiterating this. We're already in this planet. Our sun and the solar system is already in 5D, guys. And many of us operate in 5D. We're telepathic. We have remote viewing skills. We see things that are coming in the future. We are trying to guide everyone into the right timelines, and but the baddies are quite active, doing their thing as well, as they have been doing for thousands, tens of thousands of years here on this planet. So this planet, Mother Earth, who's part of our birthing process and so forth, is already 5D. And so, we're making the transition. I can tell you it's very frustrating for me already in the 5D realm, to come back to this realm and, put out information. Now, this information that I'm putting out is 4D and above. In 3D consciousness, you'll see people come in and trolling and stealing this information, putting it somewhere else and taking advantage of it. That's lower consciousness 3D. So you have to start to recognize that and just turn your back on it, walk away. Just like the election stealing that's going on in California. It's the same low vibration 3D environment, reptilian, stuff that's been going on here since the fall of Atlantis, right? So they took down Atlantis, which was 5D, and we were living in 5D. Everything was harmonious. And then the reptilians slipped in and started doing their thing, right? So same thing, Lemuria. If you go back even further, Lemuria, and then Atlantis, and it's a certain fall. Lemuria was a super high vibrational frequency, consciousness, and so forth. There was no taking advantage of everybody. Everything that you wanted, everything you need, manifested. Everything was, it was a garden. It was a Garden of Eden, for real. And that's probably what it's based on, Lemuria. So then the biblical Lemuria. So then we fell, and like they talked about the reptilian, the snake came in and seduced Eve, and Adam had no idea that was going on. And then he found out the hard way. Oh, you're pregnant, but we didn't have sex. It's like. And then she had Cain, and of course we had the Cain and Abel story. The Canaanites, which were sacrificers, they were blood rituals and sacrificing children. Still going on, guys. Reptilians, came in and basically, sunk our consciousness and took over to a great extent. But we're basically throwing them off. As we throw them off, of course, they have plans to get us back in line. Some of those plans, as we've already seen, was a COVID-19, possible, future pandemics. We're seeing Ebola, really, really spike up over there. And we're seeing, hantavirus, it's lurking. So we have all these things. We could see a Project Bluebeam or alien invasion. There's some psychics, some people that are seeing that coming this month. All right. So will it come this month, or will we be able to, stop it out like we have on a lot of other occasions, other things? But they have been, like we saw with COVID-19, they have been very successful with that, but they got stopped out at a certain point. But they got a lot of traction on that one. Right. Now, how much traction will they get with these other ones? Cain ate Abel, cannibal. There you go. So we have these cannibals that are running, and they're in our face doing it. Joe Biden, snipping kids and stuff. It's in our face. He's sniffing them. Why? Because it's like, are you? I'd like to eat you. So I mean, in our face, in your face. All right. So like Jesus, we've been talking about this for a long time, and still people don't get it. It sounds like a great movie, Jaco. Which one? Right. I could make a lot of movies. And people have come up to me, from my, The Awakening of a Warrior, and like, we're going to make a movie of that. Here's a screenplay. You just have to give over your rights. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So that kind of went away. But, there are a lot of good movies out there, and there are a lot of, movies that are basically showing us, what they're doing to us, shows and so forth. You just have, I like to watch them. I'm like, oh, you guys are like showing us that this is what you're going to do next. Okay. And we look at some of these movies, and they go back in times, like they show in some of these movies, the Twin Towers, like falling or something in a movie that was like decades ago, it's like, geez, they're prepping us for this. They were prepping us for 9/11 for a long time. Just like they prepped us for a lot of, like Project Bluebeam, the viruses, and this is not something new. It's been going on for thousands of years. Bubonic plague, all those things. There's all these like paintings and so forth. I've seen a few of them, not a lot of them, but there's paintings where they show aliens that are like, in the cities where the bubonic plague is. Where they're coming in and they're stacking bodies, and there's carts coming along, and they have those guys with those long noses so that the fumes don't come in. And then they put like, all kinds of different essential oils, I guess, in this bird beak cone. And then they have, there's one of them I remember that came out during the COVID. And I think it was called like something like I forget the name of it. It was essential oil, where it said that so people would come in and steal the onion mask, and then and people would come in and steal, and they call it like the what's a name for a thief or something like that? Thieves oil. Yeah, what's the name for a thief? A thief, right? So thieves, that's right. Velvet, you got it. Thieves oil basically was oil they would put under their nose that would stop out, them breathing this, bubonic plague. So it was it a virus, or was it some kind of, bacterium or mold? I think it was mold. Right. So I don't know. So I think a lot of it's mold. Ebola lockdown soon. Maybe not. They're going to try something as we continue to wake up. Criminal musk spray. That's a good one. Yeah, we'll have to come up with that. That's a good name. You should market that. So, criminal musk spray to get you through the next pandemic. All right. So let's have some fun with it as we move along. All right, so let's look at, what's potentially coming next week. This is Martin Armstrong. This guy rocks. All right, so I've watched him for a long time. He must have something that he maybe had some kind of illness at some point, because he doesn't talk normal, but his information is stunning. So you just overcome that, because he's going to, have these little glitches in his speech. But his information is way over the top. He's the kind of guy that I like to watch because I'm like him. He watches patterns, and he knows that everyone knows something. All right, someone, not everyone, but someone knows something, and you're going to see things move because someone knows something. And so he's always with his group all over the world, his financial group. They're watching to see what something knows, and they because he talked about how one time somebody came up to him and said, as it was like Lebanon was, they came and asked him and said, what do you see with Lebanon? Do you see it collapsing soon? And so he looked at his information, and he saw that his information, he's got this incredible information sources, like some kind of AI system, computerized system that predicts future events. And he said he looked at it and it was like Lebanon financially was the whole system was going to collapse in 8 days. So he's like, there must be some kind of a glitch. And they're like, well, what do you see? And he said, well, in 8 days, it looks like it's saying that the financial system in Lebanon is going to collapse. And so they're like, well, which currency should we go with? And he says, well, it says the Swiss franc. And he was like, what the heck? What's that all about? 8 days later, there was a civil war started in Lebanon, and everything collapsed. Right. So he's a genius. He has helped presidents, everyone in the world. Putin. He's going to talk about how President Trump came to him and said, we want you to write the peace agreement for Putin because you're highly respected. So it's like, me of all people, why me? Why not somebody in your cabinet? And he was like, well, there's a lot of people that, are kind of like war, neocons and neoconservatives, new conservatives, which are basically warmongers, right? And they've been around for a long time. All the Bushes, all those people, neoconservatives. Clintons, they're all neoconservatives. And so he's like, neocon is a short term for them. So he's like, why? And it's like, well, Marco Rubio, he's a neocon, and he's talked bad about Russia, so we don't want him to write it up. And so he's like, okay, so I guess he wrote it up. So listen to what he has to say. He's saying that next week starts World War III. Right. So World War III, he goes into detail. I'm not going to do his show. You can go look at it for yourself. I don't know. Maybe I'll have him on my show because it looks like he's going on some shows where people have lower subscribers than I do. So maybe he'll come on my show because I got more. So, yeah, more people get eyes on you. So he goes on a lot of shows. I've been watching him for like years. It's like, dang, dude, you're really trying to get this information out. That's good. So he talks about how the World War III is like a lots of brush wars, right? It's not like this massive World War I, World War II type. It's massive in the fact that it is lots of brush wars going on. So we have Russia, Ukraine, we have Iran, and something maybe is going to happen with China soon. So he's talking about all this, and he talks about how the financial system is getting ready to collapse, and that when that collapses, we move to gold, right, and silver. Right, silver always outperforms gold initially, and then you go to cash, not fiat cash. You go to gold, which is going to be cash in the future. All right, so let's listen to his like the first minute or so where he talks on this one show, the Reinvest Money show. Give them credit. And so I'm not stealing this and promoting this and making money. Right. So let's listen to this little clip.
Shock, I was asked to write the peace plan to be presented to Putin. They thought if it came from me to have more credibility to Putin, about 2 or 3 weeks later, I get a letter from Trump thanking me for doing so. I am concerned that you remove Putin and then things change. They have their neocons the same way as America has theirs.
So and I've said this too, if Putin gets removed, I mean, we'll have like the hardcore Russian, guys that will nuke everybody. They've already said they're ready to start nuking Europe, right? So Putin has been the one that has basically, same as Trump, has kept things even, has kept things from getting out of control. Of course, we know that Biden, they were pushing the envelope with Russia and China like crazy, trying to start a nuclear war with them for the last 2 years of his, or wasn't Biden, of course, but the last 2 years of the Biden administration, right? So we're seeing, Trump basically back away from all of that. He says that Trump was hoodwinked into going into Iran, thinking that it would be kind of like Venezuela. You just take out the leadership and basically everything crumbles. Well, it's basically you keep taking it. And the way the Middle East works is, because I've seen this over time and I was involved in it, the way you collapse these systems, because they're multiple systems, they have like the leadership. You have a leadership, but just like a special forces group, if we lose, our lieutenant or our leading chief or the leading petty officer, if we lose all those guys, it still goes forward. So anyone all the way down to the most junior person or the last man standing will continue the mission if possible. You might have to have at least 3 or 4 guys to continue the mission. And if you have like a squad of 4, or you have you have 8 guys or 16 guys or whatever, the whole platoon, there's a drop dead point where you have lost so many people that you can't continue. Now, I've been on missions where it could go all the way down to me, last man standing, and everyone gets taken out, and you continue forward. And that's the way it would have been. So this is kind of the way these guys in Iran are. They've broken, and we saw the same thing in Iraq, right? So, they went in, they thought it was going to be over. They hammered the hell out of, Saddam Hussein was gone within, a couple of weeks or whatever. And then the war went on for like 8 years, right? And the CIA and, special forces guys were like, this is the way we got to do things. And of course, the neocons wanted this war to continue. So Condoleezza Rice and the Bushes, all of them should be, executed for treason, in my opinion. But we're going to continue to see these neocons try and exert themselves, right? Because they're out there. Same thing in Russia. Same thing in China. So you have neocons that are going to try, deep state, are going to try and continue to push these wars and push us into, conflicts, start a nuclear war if they can, because it's like, problem, reaction, solution, right? So they create a problem, there's a reaction, they go in and just like annihilate everything, and that's their solution. And then from that point on, they control more and more and more and more. So they've been doing this for a long time. They're very good at it. We're seeing this work its way into the politics, obviously, of California. Once, and I don't know if it still is, but at one time, California was like number 4 or 5 economically in the world. All right, just the state of California. Now that has absolutely imploded quite a bit. I would be interested to see what the real numbers are on that. This political system, this political machine in California is designed to destroy California, not make California better. All right. MAGA, or MACA, whatever we call, make California great again. All right. So that's not what's happening. It's make California destroyed now. Right. So whatever the acronyms they want, these neocons and these Nazis, these deep staters are absolutely have been destroying California for decades, and they're at the point now where they're going to solidify the deal. There will be no turning back from California being completely annihilated from what it used to be. The people will be completely subservient. I think that people are finally getting it. They put up with the criminality, the fraud, the poop on the streets, people dying on the streets, tent cities, homelessness, drug use, you name it. They're like, everything's cool, right? I got my Ferrari, I got my multi-million-dollar home with a great ocean view. I'm cool. And then those ocean view homes got burned, right, by a directed energy weapon. Everybody's aware of that, right? I went there, I saw it. I'm like, this is directed energy weapon. This is a crime scene. Most of the people there know that. Now, what a lot of people don't realize, because there are some homes that are starting to be built back there, and I think they were slow rolling it, just like they did in Lahaina. Remember how long it took them to rebuild the Twin Tower area? That's because it's a radiation hazard area, guys. When they use microwaves, it creates a massive radiation effect. Although they'll lie and say it doesn't, all the effects of people that died, there's twice as many people that have died after 9/11 than died on 9/11 from complications, all kinds of diseases and everything. And if you look at those diseases that are happening now in Lahaina and will start to happen for those unfortunate people that go back into California, all the places got burned in California, they're going to get the same radiological effects, same cancers, same problems, heart problems. They're seeing it in Lahaina right now. So Paradise, Lahaina, all these different places, all of them, all the way back to 9/11, and then all around the world, and England and Peru, all around the world, Canada, where they've done these directed energy weapon attacks. All of those people that go back into those areas will get radiological problems, radiological effect problems, and that's been documented. Of course, they're hiding that, just like they're hiding the numbers of people that are dying from COVID vaccinations, right? So things will escalate.
I don't see Netanyahu backing down. He's like I said about Zelensky, he could care less about the rest of the world. Iran is trying to set in motion more than just an energy crisis, but a banking crisis. Things should start to escalate a bit more from next week on, going into August. The other side that we have that will kick in as the war begins to heat up is what we call a sovereign debt crisis.
All right. So from that sovereign debt crisis, we're going to see gold and silver, take off. Now, from that sovereign debt crisis, we may see the collapse of the old system. Now, I think that, and I've been saying this for some time, that we'll see a stock market acceleration. I think from here, at some point, we could see 30% highs from here. Now, we may get a pullback, especially if, like Martin Armstrong saying, things really start going to heat up next week. So if we go back to, bombing the hell out of Iran, that could definitely happen. So very sad about Jasper. Yeah, Jasper in Canada. Beautiful. I went through Jasper. I wanted to go back. I don't want to go back there now because it's been hit by directed energy weapons. But what an unbelievably beautiful area. So they directed energy weapon attacked that place bad. So that's what they do. They come in and they destroy people's properties. They can't get rid of them. And that's one of the reasons why California's finally woke up. Oh, you're going to burn us out of our homes? Bullshit, right? So we're going to elect some people that are going to turn that around. And then the people that the deep state is like, oh, bullshit you. We're going to bullshit you and steal this election. So the recent numbers I just saw were on the day of the election, the primary election. Of course, they should have had it done within by the end, before the end of the night, by 10 o'clock or whatever. But of course, it's going to go 3-4 weeks, whatever. And during that time frame, they're going to continue to cheat like they're doing right now. So on the night, I think they had they had 3.1 or 3 million votes. There were still 3 million votes out there that were still need to be counted. So just today, they have 3.1, so 3,100,000 plus votes to go. It's like, did you guys count any yet? You got some more? So they're going to just like they've done in all the elections, just like they've done in every election where there are mail-in ballots. They have never, ever for decades gone to Republicans. It's never gone in the Republicans' favor. All right. So these guys are expert at cheating, and they're going to continue to cheat until they win. All right. Unless somebody comes in and says, "Oh, stop. We see the cheating. Here it is. Here's the evidence of it. All stop. Disregard all this. We're going to come in with fair election process where it's going to be done in one day, and it's going to be, every county, has multiple ballot places where people come in and vote, and we'll get the vote counted that day, by the night, before the end of the night, by 10 o'clock, just like they do in Spain. Spain is one of the most leftist countries in the world, and they get their vote counted, and they have as many people as California does, millions and millions, 21 million, whatever it is. And so they get theirs done by 10 o'clock. So what the heck, they have, Silicon Valley, the most high-tech place in the world, and they can't come up with a better system than that, and the worst system in the world. All right. California's a laughing stock of the world, but they're experts at cheating. Right. So it's a deep state. They've slowly squeezed them just like that snake in the Caduceus. All right. And you go back to Adam and Eve, the snake in the Garden of Eden. So, these guys are expert at, effing with our minds. They come into and they manipulate the reptilian brain side of us. He's got that very simplified, flight or fight reptilian brain, and they come in and create fear and anger. So there's a lot of fear and anger going on right now in California, and it's probably going to get a lot worse. And when you're in fear and anger, you don't come up with really good solutions. Usually you come up with something that makes it worse. Right? So not in love vibration by any stretch of imagination. So you become your own enemy. Yes, Scott. Yes, you become your own enemy when you're in those different levels of consciousness. Now, what happens when the system implodes? At some point, we get Nasara. We're going to talk more about that in the future. I have a guest that's going to come on and give us a very good insights. Larry Ballard, he's been on before. I was talking this morning with my wife Tracy, and I have 7 shows lined up, and we're going to just break it all down and show everybody, how Trump is basically bringing in a financial system that has worked in the past. When we had tariffs, when we basically broke away from England, we started to charge them lots of money for trying to, come in. So they came in and they're threw, their teas and all the stuff, and we threw their teas into Boston Harbor and all that stuff, and we're like, screw you guys, we're not gonna get taken advantage of by you. You're taxing us, and we're not gonna put up with it. Of course, taxation now is far worse than it ever was back then, because they have taken over again, right? And they've learned how to work the system, work our minds, and make us believe that yes, taxes, we like taxes. I was down in Florida for several years. And I was at Costco gassing up, and I was talking to one of the attendants there. He was a really sharp guy, kind of like my age, in his 60s. And he was like, we're just, kind of shooting shit for a little bit. And he was like, I get these New Yorkers come down here, and they're like, you guys need to tax. you guys need to start taxing. And he's like, get the hell out of here. Like, good for you. So, wow. It's like, some people in New York, the British burned New York, or we burned New York because the British were there, I guess, something like that. And then, Washington basically, was at Valley Forge, where they destroyed his army, and they barely held together in Valley Forge. Guys were one of the coldest years ever, and guys were freezing to death there. But he held the army together, and eventually came back, and they did guerrilla warfare down in South Carolina and all those areas, and basically beat the British. Right. So that was, and the French joined us, French Masons. Right. So they helped us out, and back when the Masons were good, I guess. I don't know. So of course they infiltrated, and now Masons aren't so good. But it is what it is. A lot of people that are in the early stages of the Masonic, because I've had a lot of friends that would go over there. I had family members that were Masons and Shriners, because it's kind of like a progressive type thing. And they're like, you want to become a Mason, just let me know. We're not going to push it. That's not what we do. And I was like, that's cool. Right. I'll think about it. And I was like, no, not going to do that. Because I saw a lot of stuff that was very fishy to me. Right. Because I was a lifeguard at the Shrine Temple. And I was like, sometimes I remember I would bring the money for people that were coming to Shrine Temple. You think they'd be like, they're members, they would get like, it'd be free for them. But no, they had to pay $1. It's like, and so I take all the money up to the office. And one time I walked into a little ceremony they were having, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty strange. Right. These Masons are a little crazy. And I remember how they would make signals to my dad, and they would make signals, and they had all the shrine stuff where they had like, the fez and the Egyptian stuff. I'm like, what is that's strange. Isn't this America? Why are you wearing Egyptian stuff? So even back then I was questioning all that stuff. So, but anyway, I never became a Mason, didn't want to. Yeah, but I had friends that did. And I remember these friends were like, I'd talk to them about all kind of crazy stuff, remote viewing and past lives and all kind of crazy stuff. And they'd be all into it. And they become Masons, and they're like first, second degree, third degree. They're like, whoop. And they didn't want to talk about that stuff anymore. I was like, okay, bye-bye. All right, it's okay. Good for you. So it is. Did I walk into the goat ceremony? I think maybe I did, because there were like people on their hands and knees, and I can't even remember what it was, because I was like, I'm going to forget that. I'm going to forget that. And pretty much I did. So it was not pretty, whatever that was. Right. There were people that were scantily or not clothed, and yeah, whatever. All right. So, initiations, I guess some of those colleges have those initiations. I wonder what the Skull and Bones initiation is. Boy, I think they have to have like, anal sex or something crazy. And I don't know. I've heard some crazy stuff, but who knows? That was his gut. So anyway. Yeah. Let's move on. All right, so let's talk about something that's interesting, like silver. Right. So silver will be replacing the old system, silver and gold. So this is Michael Oliver. Michael Oliver has been crushing predictions about silver. He says that silver is where you go first, and then you go to gold, and that's what he's going to do. But he has some interesting, like I do, and I'm of the same opinion. I said that silver would go to 250 by the middle of the year. It's not looking quite like that yet, but who knows? You never know this stuff. And then by the end of the year, it'll be 500. He's saying 300 to 500 by the end of the year. So let's see what he says.
You're going to start to see it moving back up to 100 and so forth. And people will then start to pull their hair out because I thought we're going to 50, It's on the other side of this congestion zone that within, I think, about 3 monthly bars, you're going to see an enormous explosion in silver and a good strong move in gold, but silver especially. And also in the miners. The miners are doing better than gold, by the way.
All right. So some of you, as I see all the time, it's like, I don't even have enough money to buy food. But this is important for all of us, whether you do or not have the ability to have silver or do have silver or not. Understanding the way this system is about ready to be destroyed, what happens after it's destroyed. The precious metals become currency again, real currency. This has happened throughout time. Where, when, how remains to be seen. But that is part of the system before we get to, everybody having prosperity, which is absolutely going to happen. And there will be no baddies around to take our good works and turn them against us, because there's everything out there is there's good and bad. It's why? It's do you guys like bad? I don't like bad. So why is it there? Because the baddies put it there, right? So when the baddies are gone and we have all good, that's going to be great. But at some point, you have to know that this system is moving in that direction. And there are, waypoints or, places where this is going to be a signal that it's starting to happen. It's starting to transpire. The old system's breaking down. The old system is leaving. The new is coming in.
People doubt that, but you can measure it, and it's a truth. And silver is now beating gold as well. Ever since November of last year, we had a breakout saying that, okay, if you want to own gold or silver, silver's the one now. It's been a dog for 10 years. It was capped off against gold. It broke out in November, and that spread is still quite firm and has hardly flinched over the last several months. It's held its ground. I think silver's I think it will go into that range, 300 to 500, and there are about half a dozen different reasons to argue that case. You're going to start to.
So it is definitely moving in that direction. That's kind of cool. I saw there's 1776 viewers there at one point. That's moving higher. Good. Keep going. Bring more people. Let more people see what's coming. All right, so So Trump doing the sword dance, yeah. So anyway, flesh-eating screwworm. All right, so the second flesh-eating screwworm has been found in Texas, which is basically that we saw it coming closer and closer from Mexico, working its way up. Probably, put there on purpose because they want us to no longer eat meat. And so second flesh-eating screwworm case raises beef supply fears as Goldman warns outbreak could be disruptive. That's putting it lightly. So U.S. Department of Agriculture confirmed a second New World screwworm, NWS, case in a 1-month-old calf in Zavala County, Texas, roughly 5.6 miles from the first confirmed detection. All right, so not good. Now, so look at this cattle futures at record highs. All right, that is record going back to 2010, right? Probably before that, it was like really, really cheap. But I got to tell you, I remember when I was a little kid, if I got a steak, that was rare. We'd get steak maybe once a month. It was mostly pork chops and chicken breast, right? And hamburger helper when I was growing up. So it's nice to have a steak. And I just looked recently at a very nice restaurant here or close to where I'm at in Reno. I'm not going to say the name of it, but the cut of beef that I wanted, that I was looking at, I was like, I would eat that and I would be very happy. 28-day dry aged. I think it was a New York strip or something like that for $120. I'm like, what? That's just the steak, right? That's not, any drinks, or that's not any anything else. It's not a salad. It's not soup. It's not dessert. It's like, wow. So that's why wifey and I eat at home quite a bit. Right? So, and we know how to make food really well. So really well, and it's very healthy. So it's looking that way. Unfortunately, as you can see here, they're predicting as the nation's herds, this biological threat to the U.S. cattle herd comes as the nation's herd level is already at a 75-year low. Beef prices are at record highs, and meat packers are under pressure from fewer and more expensive animals. So it is. You remember when Biden was in office and everything was like, they're killing off herds because of drought, and then there was like this. They were even directed energy weapon the animals in the fields. All right. They would come up on cattle. They would be like, the grass was burned and the cattle are like fried, a herd of cattle fried. And that was happening in a lot of different places. So, and then of course, they had the chicken flu, whatever that bird flu, what was going on. And they were like, killing all the chickens. You go to Mexico, they're like, we don't have any problem down here. It's like, you want some eggs? We'll give them to you for $1.50. And then you go back across the border and they're selling for like $5.50, $12 for, a carton of eggs. And then President Trump came in and said, bullshit, stop all that bullshit. We're not killing any of the chickens anymore. And because they were just like wiping out, they'd come in and do their like COVID test on chickens. And the chicken's like, I'm healthy. And they're like, no, you're not. You've got bird flu. And we're going to kill 1 million chickens because one is sick. Wow. And that was happening everywhere. Of course, they were paying those farmers that had those chickens, money to destroy their chickens so they could keep this fear going. So when Trump came in, I guess 2 days after he's in, he's like, the press is asking him, what happened to the egg prices? They're so high. And he's like, I just got here 2 days ago. I'll fix it. Sit down and shut up. Right? So, and he did. So they're back to normal again. But there's some things when you kill off massive herds of cattle, it takes a long time for them to build back up. And now it looks like they're trying to do what they did to us with COVID. They're trying to do that with the cattle guys, these screw worms. So we're going to get screwed one way or the other. The cattle are going to get screwed. We're going to get screwed. Everybody's going to get screwed unless you're some kind of, Bill Gates or something. He's not going to get screwed. He's releasing mosquitoes, and they're like mosquitoes now can transport the Lyme's disease now, and so they're putting out mosquitoes there that are like supposedly they can't reproduce, so they're getting with the females that want to produce, I guess, and they mate with them, and there's no reproduction. So at least that's the theory, that's the story. But the ticks are spreading everywhere. They're finding boxes of ticks everywhere. Lyme's disease, and of course that doll, whatever it is, sickness where if you get it, you can't eat meat anymore. Any meat. Wow. So, geez, if I got that, I would die. I would die. So that's crazy. We're getting attacked from every which way, and I don't know. U.S. Iran must continue peace negotiations, Russia says. All right. Yes, Russia. Thank you. Thank you, Putin. Yes, we'll do that. New exchange of fire with Iran in the Gulf tests the fragile ceasefire. It's like we've been trying to do the ceasefire for like over a month, weeks and weeks and weeks. And Trump's like, we're close to a deal. And then Iran shoots missiles. Where are most of those missiles going? Dubai. And why are most of those missiles going to Dubai? So you heard Martin Armstrong saying that Iran is trying to also not only disrupt the oil, but also the banking system. So the new Switzerland is in Dubai. Hello. So Iran is shooting all kinds of missiles into Dubai, trying to disrupt the banking system as well. You know, it's a real shit show over there, and it's going to get. I've been saying we should have just gone in and hammered the hell out of them, but I guess we had to wait a little bit so they can make some more missiles to make this thing last a little bit longer. I guess I don't know. It's very frustrating. So they have more missile systems, I guess, than anyone else in the world. Trump has said they only have 30%, that we've destroyed 70%, but then Martin Armstrong said that they have 70%, only 30% have been destroyed. And of course, during this time frame where we've been negotiating peace deals, they've been building those back up. So I don't know who's informing Trump, but he needs me on his team, right? All right. So Iran says no progress in U.S. talks as Lebanon sees more clashes. Lebanon, poor Lebanon, such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place under Christian rule from the guys that came down from France, Crusaders. There's still Crusader forts in Lebanon. I went to some of those Crusader forts when I was there, worked with the CIA, and stunning. And they have, all the way back to Alexander the Great came in there and kicked the Canaanites' ass, right? So they have temples going all the way back to ancient Canaanite days, and it's like, wow, it's like the place is old, like it's old as hell, and they're still fighting there. When is it going to end? Probably never. So I think at some point they will, of course, once the deep state's done. Thank you, Mary. 333, very nice. Just because I love me some Michael Jaco, and he deserves a blessing. Thank you. Yes, you're always very generous. Thank you so much. And there's definitely a big movement for people that are trying to help others and be generous, like Mary there. Of course, we do well here, and we appreciate all of the donations, and we appreciate them because we can do this work. We can do this work to bring information to you guys, and it does help a lot of you guys. So appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to give you guys, because I've been following this. I predicted when Russia would go into, I remote viewed it back when I had my own private channel. I would do remote views with the people I put it out. Okay, we're going to do a remote view. Just come. I'll tell you what the target is. All right, so get some pre-notions in your mind of what front load it. So we did a remote view of Russia amassing on the border before they came in this last time. Now, keep in mind that Russia had been doing that for like 5 or 6 years, maybe even longer, because Ukrainians were shelling Donbass and killing thousands. I think they killed like 14,000 people, somewhere like that. And before that, in the port city, what's up, port city? Not Ozempic, something like that. Their port city in Ukraine. I can't think of the name right now. I always forget that. It's really weird how I forget that all the time. But anyway, their port city, they took Russians. They basically rounded up Russians in the Ukrainian port city and drove them. Ukrainians did, and drove them into Crimea. No, that's across from Crimea's Russia owns Crimea now, so right across from Crimea. So, so anyway, somebody's going to throw it in there in a second. Odessa, thank you. God first, yes. So you're always on it. So anyway, Odessa is basically where the Russians were rounded up, and this is kind of when the Russians were like, okay, this is it. They rounded up Russians in the city of Odessa and drove them into this one parliament building or something like that and burned them alive. Right? And the Russians were like, FAFO, all right? So they found out, right? So we did a remote view. I didn't even know this until, today I was listening to Martin Armstrong talk about this. Because he says they have offices all over the world. They have offices in Ukraine too. And he was telling us about, this and how they've been shelling Odessa. So they've been, gathering on the border, trying to say, hey, we're going to come in. You guys keep this shit up. We're going to come in and spank you guys. And so we did the remote view. And I even said, because almost everybody that did the remote view said they saw Russia coming in. It was winter and all that. So they had the Olympics, the Winter Olympics. And I said, the day after the Winter Olympics, that's when Russia's going to go in. Of course, I'm predicting this well in advance. And of course, that did happen. Right now, I believe that they're going to Russia is going to take Odessa soon, and soon being maybe by the end of this year or in early next year. I think they're going to take Kharkiv. They're going to take. They're going to finish taking all the rest of the Donbass area, and there's another one. And I think they might even start pressing in on Kyiv itself. But there's several cities I've said in the past that we're going to be taking, 3 of them this year at some point, or maybe pushed into early part of next year. Because I think this war is going to go on into 2027, 2027, and maybe even 2028, as long as that. So we may still see, unfortunately, another couple of years. Allison V says, Armstrong said the people in Odessa office won't talk to Kyiv office. Interesting. So it sounds like Odessa is basically setting up to basically break from Kyiv, which, would not surprise me. Kyiv, right? It's pronounced a lot of different ways, but I think that's the way the Russians pronounce it, because they're going to own it soon. Why not pronounce it the way the Russians? Because the Russians look at Kyiv as kind of like Russia's birthplace. They don't see it as a foreign country. They allowed Ukraine to have its sovereignty, and they thought they were going to have trading, but Europe had other ideas, and of course they had John McCain come in and help them take over the duly elected from the people of Ukraine, their government. So they threw their government off, drove them out, and they went with the European Union. So Russia was going to give them free, good, easy, very profitable trading rights, and Europe didn't want that. They wanted to steal from Ukraine, and so that's what they've been doing. The BlackRock is very disappointed with how much land has been taken by Russia. They took all of the most profitable areas of Ukraine. Interesting that. So, and Russia overall has more reserves of all, oil. And speaking of oil, remember how Trump just recently, a couple months ago, he's like, okay, we're going to not restrict Russia from, exporting oil like we were doing. And they were still doing it in the black market. But President Trump said, so we can relieve the pressure from what's going on from Iran. Russia, go ahead and start, shipping oil to the rest of the world. So what did Ukraine do? And what have they been doing? They've been targeting all of the oil infrastructure of Russia since then. They're evil. They're Nazis. They're Nazis, absolute Nazis. So when the Nazis came into Ukraine from World War II, they left an impression there, and that impression has lasted. So all the people that are running Ukraine right now are pretty much neo-Nazis, new Nazis, right? Not the old Nazis, the new ones. They're much better, right? New's better, and not so much. They have been doing some Zelensky and his crew. Now Zelensky used to say he was a Christian boy, right? He did his comedy shows, and he says, "We're going to steal from the Jews and the Russians," and that was comedy. And the Ukrainians, because they're neo-Nazis, laughed at that. That sounds good. And so today I saw on I think it was Fox News how and I'm not a fan of Fox News. Not for a long time after they went against President Trump in the 2020 election. So since then I'm like I don't like any of Fox News. Occasionally I watch someone, but not so much, right? I very rarely look at any of the mainstream media news. If I do, it's just to see what bullshit they're putting out. So, and then I talk the real truth on this channel to give you guys the insights so you don't get misled by the Mockingbird media. CIA, that's the old Nazis that made the CIA, right? And the FBI, the old Nazis, right? So I don't know, maybe they got some neo-Nazis in the CIA and FBI now. Maybe, I don't know. So the neo-Nazis in Ukraine, they're a mess. The Hitler guys basically did their thing, and Russia came in there and destroyed the Nazis. And that's what they're doing right now. So it's like Ukraine is taking all their people, men and women, and they're taking, I think it's 21. They're trying to push it to 18. I don't know if they've done that yet. I think it's like maybe 20, 21 is like the enlistment age where they have to be part of the military, whether they like it or not. And all the way up to like 60, 62 or something. 60 or 62. Wow. You should be like, not me. I'm never going to stop. But at that point, you should be like retired and, hanging out and raising grandkids and, helping out the family. But they're taking like people in their 60s, 60, 62, all the way to that age and send them to the front to die. Because you go to the Russian front, you're going to die. Right? Because the Russians aren't messing around. They're really hammering. So I want to show you guys what's going on there. And I know I'm flip-flopping around a lot of stuff, but trying to get a lot of information out there. Russia has taken the drone warfare to another level. Of course, Ukraine has done the same on their end. So the drone warfare is new, right? Neo drone, where it's all new. It's not old drone warfare. I remember it was like this. These I can't remember their names. I'll think of it maybe in a minute. But they did. They looked into the future. They're futurist. Alvin and something, Toffee, something like that. And he and his wife basically would look into the future. And they would say, I remember they were talking about how there was going to be drones in the future. And I was like, yes, there's going to be drones in the future. And there's robotic stuff going on now. And they said back then that drones would get to the point where they would replace, and this was back in the, I don't know, 90s, late 80s, 90s. And I was like, yes, this is what's coming. I can see it. Right. So now we have drone warfare, which is on a level that's never been seen before. And it is really shaping the battlefield and will continue to shape the battlefield all across the world going forward. So imagine in the United States, I remember when I was a SEAL, and we would sneak across the beach and we would sneak through the woods and through the deserts and all that kind of stuff. And we thought we're sneaky, no one could see us, and we're good. And then I learned how to track. I became a tracker, and I started showing the guys. It's like, you guys think you're like sneaking around, but look at this. Go across the beach. So I have them go across the beach, and like we normally do, we sneak across. We're all like sneak, do. No one sees us, and we go up into the berms. So then I was like, okay, come back here. All right. See all these tracks, and everybody's like, we never thought about that. It's like, yeah. And so then I showed them how to like do it in the woods, do it in the desert. And remember those guys that died in Afghanistan? The SEALs, they were basically in the mountains or like surveying a site. And some kids came upon them. Some kids saw their tracks. They were like, they tracked their sheep and everything. Of course they could track, these knuckleheads are like walking through the mountains with their boots and all the heavy gear, leaving massive tracks. So they got tracked them, and then they captured them, and they were holding them. They're like, what are we going to do with them? We're going to kill them. And they're like, they decided not to do that, which was good. All right. But what they did, which was stupid, is they let them go. And then they started going to their pickup point where the aircraft was supposed to pick them up. And they should have at that point, they should have said, we need a fast exfil, get out of here. What they should have done is taken those kids with them. And then when they got, picked up, then they let them go. Duh. But they let them go. They argued about it, whether they're going to kill them or not, and then decided not to kill them, and then they let them go. Right. And then, those kids, of course, ran down to the town and told all the, radical Muslims, they had AKs and rocket propelled grenades and all kind of strip, and they came running by the hundreds. And these guys were running through the mountains, fighting for their lives. Now, in the movie, it shows them, fighting and dying and running and fighting and dying. But unfortunately, the real reality is when the Army guys that came to rescue, the lone survivor, right? When they tracked them and all that kind of stuff, they found all their ammo and weapons that they could find. No one had shot anything. They just ran, right? No fighting. It's not like the movies, guys. So now I was in Pakistan, in this little city in Pakistan on the border of Afghanistan, close to where they killed these guys, and they were selling their gear in the marketplace. And so the case officer, one of the case officers, CIA case officers, went in. It's like, was asking him, where'd you get it? And can I buy it? It's like, yeah, you can buy it. Anybody can buy it. So we bought it, got it out of there. But, there's a new type of warfare. So imagine drones out there right now. Imagine Navy SEALs like going through, thinking they're all cool. No one's seeing them. Drones flying all over the place now. You can't sneak around like you used to. And I'm going to show you guys, what that looks like for real on the battlefield. Everything has changed.
The 58th Army's reconnaissance units discovered what the Ukrainian armed forces had carefully concealed: the command center of the unit holding the defensive line.
So this is a drone that's hovering, watching the environment, looking for movement. So as you can see there's a Ukrainian soldier that's going into, thinks no one can see him, just like the Navy SEALs going across the beach. And I show them, oh, look, you see all these tracks. Anyone could follow you. A goat could follow you. All right. So you see how the drones are all up there and they're watching all the movements, vehicle movement, guys moving. They have oversight as well when guys are moving through the environment, cleaning. So they'll blow the hell out of it. So like, man, look at this place. It's been blown to hell. It's going to get blown to hell more here pretty soon. But they blow the hell out of a place where they know the whoever the enemy is, where there's Ukraine blowing up the Russians or where there's Russians blowing up the Ukrainians. They usually use drones first. So they're watching, and they're always using drones, really, because drones will come in and they'll spot like this, and a drone will come in and blow it up, or a missile will come in and blow it up, or artillery shell will come in and blow it up, or a mortar will come in and blow it up. So, and then the military guys come in and clear and make sure everything's clear. Some of the bunkers and pits and bunkers and so forth that they have on the ground, they have to come in and throw in mines and so forth, and you'll see the actual military members doing that while the drones are watching over them. So if anything comes up, then they have strike drones that have bombs on them, like you're going to see here pretty soon, and they'll blow them up.
In the direction of Orikhiv, the coordinates were relayed to the operators of the 71st Guards Motorized Rifle Regiment's attack drones. The rest was a technical matter. They worked by day. They worked by night. There were no days off or coffee breaks. A Russian FPV drone destroyed a Ukrainian ground robotic platform with...
So they'll use these robots and they'll, dial in where they need to go. So these robots will go along these roads, bringing supplies and gear and so forth. So it's drones and robots. It's getting to the point where there's no more, like I said, the Alvin and Heidi, that's it. Alvin and Heidi Toffler in their work, looking at future events and so forth. They've predicted the internet and how it was coming, and they called it the third wave. So we go through these different waves. First wave being agricultural, second wave being industrial, and the third wave being, high tech. And they predicted, what the world would look like, and they showed how the world advanced, broke down, and went to another level. I think we're moving into the fourth wave, which is the AI wave. Right. That's my thoughts on this. I haven't seen anything like that, but I think we're moving into another wave again very quickly. And these waves, like the first wave lasted, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of years, maybe millions of years. And then the second wave, of course, was, I don't know, hundreds of years. And now the high-tech age was, computer age was, decades. And now we're moving into the new fourth wave, I believe, which is the AI age.
Single strike. An FPV drone destroyed a Dutch-made YPR 765 infantry fighting vehicle belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces on the Zaporizhia front.
All right, so you can see here where they've already destroyed some vehicles or some kind of equipment. Now, what happens a lot of times is they'll use these old military vehicles, which will get them to the fighting point, and then they just all jump out and run and start to, hunker down, get in bunkers and all that kind of stuff. And they leave these armored vehicles because they know if someone were to drive it back, it's going to get blown up. So this is what you're going to see right here. So this is what they're doing on both sides. If they can get to the battlefront in an armored vehicle, that's great. They jump out and then, hide and get in positions where they can't be blown up. Well, they can be eventually, which is happening. But for the most part, they've been doing this for a while too. So in the past, they would come in with like these massive, all the way back to World War II and other wars all the way up to now. You come in with tanks and armored vehicles and so forth, and you could come in and basically take over a place. That's no longer. If either side comes in with long stretch of military vehicles, they're going to get pounded and destroyed.
The Russians spotted a pickup truck and a large military truck. Then the Molnia II strike took place. At that moment, another pickup truck was passing by. An FPV drone operator nearby sprang into action and struck the enemy pickup truck.
Now, these pickup trucks and so forth, go 80, 100 miles an hour. When they see something like that, they just hit the gas. And they get down the road as fast as they can. But these drones can go up to 200 miles an hour, some of them. So there's no escape.
The wall and roof of a small house where enemy infantry were hiding were blown to pieces just like that. Near the village of Baranovka in the Kharkiv region, Russian reconnaissance units detected the movement of an enemy armored vehicle. FPV drone operators from the Northern Military Group targeted the vehicle, completely destroying the American Humvee. In the Kharkiv region, a Ukrainian Kvertus electronic warfare station was detected and destroyed by an FPV drone team. In the Kharkiv region, a Ukrainian soldier went outside to smoke, but this led to his position being detected. He was then subjected to a series of attacks from an FPV drone and was killed. Intense fighting is taking place across.
So as you can see, they go after one person, right? And you're going to see a little bit further on where Russians they blast these drones. They see these drones, they blast them in the air, right? So Russians, I've seen a lot of them, blasting the drones before they hit them. You see most of the Ukrainians, most of the ones I've seen, you see them on vehicles and so forth. As you saw some of those vehicles, they just jump out and run for their lives, right? They don't try and defeat the Russian drones. But I don't know, maybe the technology isn't as good in the Ukrainian drones because the Russians are shooting them down.
The entire eastern part of the Krasnopol district in Sumy Oblast. The enemy is attempting to plug gaps in its defenses by deploying combat groups composed of Ukrainian soldiers from the rear. Objective surveillance footage shows that the next enemy troop deployment was thwarted and an enemy pickup truck was destroyed. Operators from the Ground Robotics Platform Unit are evacuating a wounded soldier from one of the front lines. Russian FPV operators continue to neutralize enemy personnel. A pickup truck was located and stopped after coming under attack. One of the few surviving infantrymen was captured by such an FPV drone.
So that's right. So they're actually capturing soldiers. I saw there's another clip in here. I'm just not gonna, this is where I'm going to stop. There's another little clip in here where the drone comes in, and I don't know if it's talking to them or something, and they're throw down their weapons, and then they walk to a place where there's these radios with instructions, and they pick up these radios and instructions, and then they go and they sit in this one area, and then they come in and capture them. So, that's pretty crazy because with the drones, they can make sure they're not armed. So, because some of these Ukrainians in the past have given up, and they, 5 or 6 of them walk out with the hands up, and then this jackass Ukrainian comes out and he starts shooting, and then of course the Russians shoot everybody. So because they can't trust anybody at that point. But with the drones, they can make sure they look around and make sure they don't have any weapons, have them pull up their shirts or whatever. There's nothing under their belts or along their waistline. So it is a better way. They can kill the enemy quite easily by onesies if they need to, and they can have the enemy give up with a drone. That's it's crazy the way the drone warfare is working right now. So let's give you guys a little insight on the drone warfare, how it's on another level. We're going to see it continue to go to different levels, and Russia is basically getting ready for a massive breakthrough in the fighting line. All right, so here is Patrick Lancaster. He's been reporting from the battle lines for several years now. So here he is basically behind the lines where a Russian artillery group is training new people, and they're going to start to push these groups forward into the battle lines. So behind the enemy lines, they're training, and then they're going to go up and start taking it to the Ukrainians.
To these front lines between Russia and Ukraine. Now, just so you know, the Kursk region where we are now has been in intense battle. If you haven't seen my other reports, go see that. But Ukraine came across the border between Ukraine and Russia, took control of a lot of Kursk, and then Russia pushed them back. And in Belgrade, they had taken control of territory, and Russia pushed them back. And now Russia is pushing into Kharkov, Ukraine, and Sumy, Ukraine, and we're going to be sure.
All right, so this is where they're training them. Now, in the past, I haven't worked specifically on artillery. I've worked with, personally, I've worked with M60 mortars, where you actually hold the mortar. It's on a plate. You hold the tube and you drop mortars in it. And wherever that mortar lands, you kind of like get the feel of it after a while, and then you adjust. So I was very, very good with a mortar. And when I started getting mortars shot at me, I understood, the process, and we were able to use a Mark 19, which is a 40 millimeter grenade launcher. So I'd used it myself in training to basically take down the backfire bombers in Vietnam. And we were supposed to, dump our Jeeps out of a C-130 that was short field, basically running along the, not stopping, running along the airport. And then we dump our Jeeps out the back, down the ramp, and then take off and just start blasting the Russian bombers that could nuke America. So that was one of the things that, we trained in back then. So it's pretty interesting to see how the drones now are spotting. So now I used to do this when I was in Iraq. We would have these knuckleheads that were like mortaring us, and we were spotting from a building where the Mark 19 grenades were landing, and then was like, okay, back 10, over 5, and then we basically blow them up, right? And they'd end up in the hospital, and we were right next to the hospital, and we tell the Spanish, all right, we just put some guys in the hospital, come get them. And the Spanish would drag their feet, and then they, get well enough, and then they leave. So it was very frustrating, right? So the Russians aren't messing around. They're going in and taking down these neo-Nazis on a massive scale. So here are these guys basically training and, sighting. They can use the drones. The drones can help them spot where the rounds are landing, and they can adjust. So it shows these guys learning how to adjust their cannons.
54, 34, 54, 34. 34. Все, есть. Так, клин затвора. Давай. Значит, смотрите. Значит, у нас стопор утоплен. Вот. Когда у нас на дальность, вот, Пузырьки на середину, продольный для ствола, поперечный для панорамы. Ну вот. И после этого, когда он, как я сейчас говорил, командует.
Ага,
А это точная наводка уже идет. И угломерные шкалы.
ага.
Хорошая в Афгане. Просто мы двойную маскировку делаем, чтобы ветками не забрасывать. То есть сверху вот это. Здесь летает.
All right. So first they do the drones, and then they bring in the artillery. They do the artillery. Then they bring in, at any point, they can do missiles. But usually they launch missiles or bombs from aircraft along the perimeter of the battlefield, and they glide bomb in, and they have massive bombs now, 3,000-pound bombs, which, you know, the JDAMs, military, U.S. military joint something munitions, JDAMs, basically the most they are is 2,000 pound, but they're extremely accurate. Now the Russians with their glide bombs have 3,000 pound, I think maybe even a 3,500 pounder, and that is massive. I mean, JDAMs are 5,000, 500, 1,000, and then 2,000. That's a 2,000 pound bomb is like way devastating. So imagine I'm imagining a 3,000 pound bomb. I'm like, holy smokes. But I see massive buildings basically blown up with these glide bombs that the Russians have now. So it is moving into different levels of warfare. And meanwhile, in California, right, where we're fighting the deep state, the Nazis here in America. All right. So we're not using glide bombs on them. We're trying to defeat them with law. Right. It's not working out so good, is it? But, you know, we're going to have to continue to do it like this. You know, at some point, I think we may have to actually, you know, go kinetic on these deep staters that are neo-Nazis that are here in America.
Disaster.
Consumers are literally running out of money.
Nothing goes up forever.
Surging volatility over the past 24 hours.
The fear and greed index right now is reading extreme fear.
And cue the fire. We got an urgent one for you.
All right, Johnny Bravo, he comes out with some good ones. This is a good one. So you're going to see basically what's happening here. Looks like the financial system is getting ready to, you know, make a little nosedive. Will it be the nosedive? I thought the nosedive was coming several times. This could be another just a pullback before we reach all-time highs again. So we'll have to watch this. So it looks like it's not looking so good for the stock market, but, you know, I've seen the stock market turn around on a dime on fear. But if we're definitely going to start to hammer Iran in the coming days, which it sounds like might be coming, then we're probably going to see the stock market take a dive.
And hopefully you are watching this before Monday. It is currently a setup, and fear is back, baby. And it came in strong, right? Where'd that come from? Didn't see that coming. What could have triggered it? The charts. Actually, this was the biggest day. Look at this. 5th. That was just a few minutes ago. 26, 25, 20, 20. Oh, actually, hey, Don was actually president in all of these things. But this little rug pull, also known as a sweet setup where there is no fear in the market, then out of nowhere, where is the fear? It just sprung its head. But that is not what scares me. What scares me is this. What? Colors? Well, kind of. Going back to the railroad and the .com. It's when you find yourself in a concentration of just one thing. Guess what this one thing is? AI. What are the chances that it's going to pop? Why is it when it finds itself at that exact 40%, the same time the other one's popped? here we is. So we can all agree that Friday was an absolute bloodbath. Now the question is, will it continue? Well, there's a high probability of yes. So this 2.53 trillion that just got wiped out of the face of this earth, well, there's more important things to look at, like.
So those colors that it was showing, the one that was the highest was a railroad panic of 1873, which was even worse than 1929, if you could believe it. So there was a big run up, and the railroads were going across the country. We're taking America from coast to coast, our goods, our services, and so forth. So there was like this mania that was created, just like the mania that happened, the Roaring '20s, the stock market crash in the 80s, 70s, 80s, when Carter came in and was the worst president ever before Biden came in. So then we had, of course, the dot-com crash, where the NASDAQ crashed 81% from its highs. And then, of course, we had 2011, 2008, 2009, 11, 2011. And now we're looking at the possibility. I don't know if it's going to happen soon, but it will, I think, very possibly this year. If not, then in the beginning of next year. But we're going to see the ultimate stock market crash of all time.
Where are you at in regards to the 200? Where are you at in regards to the 20? Also, it's not as if no one saw this coming. So we have private credit bubble bursting like 1929, a housing market like 2008, and an AI bubble exactly like 1999. What could possibly go wrong? And who could have foreseen it? It's like voting in California. It is all fraud. It is like politicians in the government. It's all fraud. And they just repeat the same stupid things. Quote, Republicans are trying to rig elections by only allowing U.S. citizens to vote. This is horrible.
So they, AOC, she's like the dumbest Democrat ever. Yet she's probably going to be, she is going to be running for president. So they need dumb people to basically, that are manipulable, so they can get their systems in that are going to manipulate us. Because a sane, common sense, good moral, high standard person is not going to allow something like that to happen. So they get an idiot, like that. Of course, Biden was, dumb. And then we had, dumber and dumber and dumberest. So it's going to continue until we get rid of that system, that dumb, because President Trump is onto something. He's going to call them the Democrats. I've been calling them demon rats for a long time, but I think that's a little too harsh. He's an expert at basically making these calls and calling people names that kind of stick, and then they go away. So I think I've been predicting for a long time, we're going to see the Democrat Party go away. So he's calling them the Democrats now. So we'll see, how this is going to work out. I think that we're very close to exposing them, because there have been helicopters, military helicopters, that have been coming into cities within California at night, right, in the middle of the night. Right. So I used to train to do that. And when I was a SEAL Team 6, we used to do that we did it in Miami. We did it in New York. We know that just before COVID, they did it. So I don't know. Maybe they're not going after the political corruption. I hope they are. Maybe they're going after another bioweapon, right? Because I think that's what they did back in 2019, where we were showing that. And I was looking at that. I was like, oh, that's my bros. That's my bros that are, jumping out and running around LA. What's going on? You guys training? It didn't look like training to me. And as we've heard from Juan O'Savin and from others, and I assume that was the case, they may have been getting nuke material and bioweapon material, right? So weapons of mass destruction, that's what, when I was in the SEAL teams, and especially when I was in SEAL Team 6 and in the CIA, we're always looking for weapons of mass destruction. That was part of the thing we trained for and what we're always supposed to be looking for. So now, are they involved in, the fraud? Because we've heard that the military is going to get involved at some point in this. If we don't get the SAVE Act passed, which doesn't look like it's going to be, although Trump keeps beating the drum on that, even though the Senate just recently decided not to pass it once again, I think that we will possibly see an executive order from President Trump. And we don't want to show them our hand too early, guys. So it could be the SAVE Act comes out at the last minute. It could be that we have an executive order that comes out at the last minute, because once we show our hand what we're going to do, these Democrats are going to move and they're going to counter it, right? So if they think they're going to get away with, cheating again, like they've always done in elections, like they're doing right now in California, if that gets stopped out, we got military going in and seizing, some of the fraud that's very obvious, and we have evidence of it. It could be like I talked about. They could stop it and do another election, right? Which will be done in a day, and Californians will have to register. They'll have to show ID, and that can be done very quickly. Because California is where, is the most high-tech place in the world. So we have Trump's, remember, he's been parading all those high-tech people through the White House. Sounds like he's making friends with them. And so they could probably put something together very, very quickly. And it could be utilized perfectly. And there would be no fraud. And if there was fraud, it'd be exposed right away and it would be included. So I think that's what we might be heading towards. And maybe California will be the test bed for it, right? If it works in California, let's do it everywhere now, right? So it's very exciting, the possibilities there. So don't give up hope. I never do. Now let's leave on this note what the potential is long term for gold and silver. If you're a long-term investor, there's short term, where you maybe take some of your profits on the next bump up and use that to buy, beaten down stuff like crypto is going to be beaten down to hell. You get Bitcoin for 35 thou, XRP for about, 65 to 70 cents, almost all the way back to where it was at 50, 55 when it took off, right? So this is normal for the crypto space to get beaten back down pretty hard, and then the next time it comes back in double, triples, quadruples, quintuples from its low, and that's a pattern. It's just look at the pattern, guys. It's easy, and invest early on and don't hodl, right? That money could be put to work, right? So it should be working for you right now in silver. I know a lot of you guys have probably done really well in silver, as I have, but there's a lot higher to go. So let's watch this last little piece. This particular guy also has been exceptionally accurate throughout time. So David Hunter has been crushing it in his predictions. He's predicting that the stock market will go to an all-time bubble high. It hasn't reached it yet. It'll get pullbacks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% maybe, but then it'll come back and it'll go to new all-time highs. Just like we got a pullback in March, and then the stock market took off again. We had a pullback in March of last year, and the stock market took off. So we're having these bubbles. We had the dot-com bubble. We're having the AI bubble now. And at some point, it's got to reach some kind of crazy level. And then once it reaches that level, pop. And then it starts to come down. And it comes down a little bit. And then it drops precipitously. and then precipitously, and then everybody's like in panic. But it's too late then. You're going to lose a lot of your profits, if not all of them. So let's listen to what David Hunter says.
Should see a pretty fast run, meaning over the next few months, 3, 4, 5 months, silver going from, the mid 70s here up to 180, and gold going from, where it is now up to 6,800. Post bust, gold can get to 20,000.
So post bust, meaning the stock market, and he predicts, like I do, an 80% crash in the stock market. And as we saw with the NASDAQ when it crashed 81%, it took a long time for it to come back, right? So again, you don't want your money sitting in, a dead portfolio that's going to stay dead for a long time. Will creep back up, and then over a long period of time, 10 years or more, it might reach the level where it is now, or where it is when it's going to hit the all-time high, right? So that's the way 1929 was. It took decades and decades for it to reach the all-time high. Then it crashed down again. Then it went up again, and then it went to much higher highs. But it took a long time for the 1929 crash to finally work its way out of the stock market. So it was probably if you're at the end of your earning period and you're going to count on your money that's accumulating in the stock market, your portfolio, whatever it is, your retirement accounts, it could get wiped out, guys. And then you're going to be working at McDonald's, like unfortunately I've seen a lot of seniors. You don't want to be there, right? You want to benefit, you want to make a lot of money, and you retire in the future very happy. Your family's happy, your pets are happy, and you live a longer life because you're happy, right? You're happy and it. Clap your hands, right? So that's where we want this to go. So ultimately, if you have a long term, because there'll be ups and downs. Sometimes it's hard for someone that's not following stuff, and it's really hard for me. I mean, I follow this stuff almost all my life, right? For 50 years, longer than that, 55 years. I started investing when I was around 10. So it is in silver, and it is something that is going to be phenomenal going forward. So I predicted all these big spikes in silver in the past. And this one is going to be the mother of all spikes in silver, and you don't want to miss out.
As I said, and silver can get to 1,000. I had thought 500 was going to be kind of a crazy number, and after seeing what we've seen this year, I had to raise it. And I think silver at 1,000 may sound crazy, but I think that's very doable for early next decade. And we should see a pretty fast run, meaning over the next few months, 3, 4, 5 months.
All right. So my predictions, right? We got a lot of other people that are, been in this game a lot longer than I have, and deeper into it than I have. I've been running around the world, saving your asses, right? Only to allow the neo-Nazis to come in here and get you from behind while I'm protecting you from the front, right? It is frustrating for me. It's frustrating for all of us veterans that fought for our country, only to see that that was protecting us. Fighting for our country was protecting the digging in deeper of the deep state here in America, right? So we're gonna have to all work together to dig them out. Some point, is it going to be like those drone warfare in the cities? Could be LA gets, we have to wall it off. And it's interesting because one of the best remote viewers I ever had, he predicted that there was going to be a wall that was going to have to be built around LA. Right? So I'm not going to tell you who it was, but it would be, maybe he can reveal that at some point. But he revealed on a live show anyway, so I don't see why I wouldn't. But we'll see. Some of these cities are going to get, I think, really bad. And if LA, succumbs to having its election stolen, we don't step in and clean it up. We're going to see LA. And if the governorship, goes blue again, it's going to be like the Great Wall of China. We're going to have to build a Great Wall of California to keep those zombies in. Just like, what's that one HBO show where, they have the ice wall and the zombies are, they have to keep the zombies out. Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones in California, right? If the Democrats win this last one, and it will be hellscape in throughout California, no doubt about it. Right? It's bad now. It's the dumb rats, demon rats, dumb rats, dumb crats, whatever we want to call them. All the above. If they win again, guys, California will be dead, right? And probably God will be like, cast that thing into the ocean, right? Cast that decrepit, nasty beast into the ocean. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, RC. Mankind is the only species that actively destroys its own kind. 2026, you think we would have learned by now that we are being manipulated. Well, we all know we're being manipulated. Most of us just don't know how to, defeat it, right? It's so ingrained, and we're learning. I remember it's like, yes, Republicans, they're the only one that's good. And then I learned that, over time, we're like, oh shit. It's like, oh, there's a few of them that are bad too. And then over time, it's like, there's a lot of them that are bad. And then now it's like they're all bad, but maybe one or two. It's like, geez. Rhinos, Republican in name only, and Democrats. Right. So we got to clean the whole system out. I don't know. So we don't need them. We can govern ourselves, I believe. We can pick our own people to do it. High quality, good morals, but they don't let us. The people that we put in there that we know that will do a good job, like Louis Herms, they come in and basically shut them down completely. No media, no polling, no nothing. So that's where we're at right now. So turn it around, turn it all around. In the meantime, the beef cattle is, going away, just like the chicken coops. It's like they just want to take away our food, don't they? They want to starve us. These communists, they do that every time. Every time they get power, they create some kind of famine, and lots of people die. It's happened every time. Russia, China, you name it, you name the place that came under communist rule, and they starved the people out. They starved out all the people that would resist them or kill them, put them in concentration camps, and then exterminate them there, so that they only had communists. It's like the Democrats. It'll be like the Democrats of California. They'll be completely in charge. No one will be able to impose them. They'll create concentration camps for the people that are would talk back against them. They burn down some more cities and take them over. Think I'm wrong. It's already moving that direction. We're already there. It's not that it's like some kind of conspiracy theory. It's a progressive takedown of our beautiful system here in the United States. So the democracy is mob rule. Constitutional republic is where we the people are in control, and we have lost our constitutional republic almost everywhere, right? So we need to get it back. All right, guys, lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, and we'll see you guys next time. The comments. I was like, no one's talking anymore, and it's like, and then I touch it, and it's like, there's like thousands of comments. I missed them. Sorry, guys. I would have commented more on your guys' comments. Yep. spicy beef stick, bring it on. Yeah, those are good. And I remember when I was in the Philippines, we would like, be out in town, and we like, we party in town. The Filipinos can like, copy any music except when they sing. They have this P, and they pronounce this P. Let me think of like, I think of it. I don't want to. Anyway, we've been out in town. They like, have these rock bands, and it was like Fillmore East and so forth. And that was a seal bar. And so we go out and we party, and then we come back to the base, to our barracks. And on the way in, there's like these beef sticks on a cart. And I remember eating those. I was like, after you've been drinking, you eat anything. And I remember eating those, and I was like, they were spicy and, had some kind of sauce on it. And I was like, oh, this is so good. And I was eating those for like weeks, party, eat beef stick, and then go in and go to sleep. Well, I learned that was monkey meat. It was monkey meat. They didn't have beef, it's Philippines. They don't have like cows, they probably do, but it was monkey meat. And I was like, dang. It's like, well, it was good. I don't care. Whatever. All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration. And I will see you guys next time.